Hi, we've been invited back to this home site to improve the look of the front of this house. Now, what can we do to make this home feel warmer or cozier? We have some landscape ideas in mind, but also some constructional features that are going to help the look. We're going to remodel or give this home a facelift from the front porch all the way to the driveway on the Designer's Landscape today. Okay, I want to let you know that several weeks ago, I removed the African iris that was here in front of the porch in order to make way for our construction and the construction process. What we want to do really is add to this roof. This whole porch gets wet in the rain, and by extending this roof, Rodney has talked about making it a ranch style or a shed style roof, so it won't carry the same angle because it would end up too low, so it'll flatten out and come straight out at you. Then, the width of these two columns, we want to go ahead and build a gable or an archway that really accents the front door. So from this angle, we'll see this new porch extend over here, and for some feature around the base, we're going to come in with a little handrail that's made out of some weatherproofing material. It'll come out and go along the porch, and again, this should help dial things up a little bit. Landscape-wise, with all this removed, we don't have to worry about it being damaged during construction. And I don't know about the Parsons juniper. We will probably remove it and redecorate, like we said, all the way to the driveway here. Well, in a short period of time, I'll have this tree shaped for his winter view, and then we look forward to branching and more fullness as spring develops. We've had a frost or a freeze about a month ago, and so we've done some things as a result of that, and that is pruning back the Aztec grass. Since then, you see it starting to push back toward our spring growth, and this is a great time to go ahead and clean out any unwanted debris from around the plants and discard it, and also take advantage of fertilizing so that it gets right around the base of the root ball. Also, we've got a seasonal weed in here that we can kind of pull out, eradicate, pull by hand. It's pretty easy to take care of, and clean it out with the weeds and leaves that are also coming up. There's a dollar weed in here too, and that requires a little bit of a different animal. So this is a great time to use a post-emergent or a pre-emergent herbicide to help things out. The lantana here, we've cut these back also, and so they're starting to branch and get that spring fullness. They'll have color in no time. Well, back to the Parsons juniper up front. You know, this plant is really durable. It takes the heat, the cold. You can tell we've been through a frost and a freeze, as I mentioned, and this stuff is nice and green, or the bluish green cast it has. I'm gonna work on the clean out here, getting these ripped out, and then we'll catch up with the construction guys.
Hope that measures out there, Rodney. By the way, this header will be doubled, so this is our first one across here. We'll temporarily tack that in, and then we'll go ahead and put a full piece in here, so we alternate the spacing on it. And the big thing is building this frame for the header before we come in and tie into these rafters, stick them out, and then put our plywood over there. We still have this rot to deal with in the corner, and Rodney's going to get to that and help us out there. No real damage, except with the valley, we've had some water leak in there and leak back and cause a little bit of wood rot.
And I think the outside of this beam might be a little weak. We'll check it with a screwdriver or something, see how bad it is. Now, also these plates here for the 4x that are set up, we've got 3 on each side, but you notice we don't have a 4x that goes all the way up to the header, and that's why we're going to come in with our 4x post here, a low one, that'll really support the handrail, about a 32-inch height here. So we'll see how that looks. We kind of eyeballed it between 30 and 36. We don't want the porch or the railing too high here because it might look a little odd. So it's a kind of a feel it thing. That's the height of our railing. We look forward to getting to that point. Come on in, Ron. I think I got that in place for you. At least it's secure. How's it feel? All right, you ready for this next piece? All right, up we go. Gonna center him up, huh? Okay, let Rodney do his nail gun thing there. The man's got a gun. Popsy daisy. All right, we'll nail him off. And we make 2 cuts, see? Go all the way to the end. Before you know it, we'll start plywooding in that and then ready for our gable, huh? Can't wait. Okay, Rod, I'm tied off there, buddy. A new string line. And you're probably wondering what this is for. Well, this is really going to be our new rail height. So, but before we do that, we want to kind of bring you up to speed on what we've been up to lately. Remember, we were putting in the header last. Well, we went ahead and built this gable. What do you think? It's kind of bringing things together. Now, originally we had decided on coming with the width that would be for this inside pillar, but it was too short. We've got a 4.5 on 12 pitch, so by bringing it out to this outside column, it really gave us a little more height or headroom. And I think size-wise, it's matched up well, and it looks pretty good. Up top, what you can't see is where we ripped off again, put new plywood down, and we saved some of the shingles. So we want to try to reuse some of these. There's no reason why we can't. They're in pretty good shape. We're going to try to match up the best we can with these old shingles, but they both kind of fade together, so it's not really a major if we don't match up perfectly. But things are looking good in here. What we've done also is our patch and repair with the rotted wood. You remember that? Now we've got some new wood in there. We'll come and caulk and secure some of these lines. and paint over that, that'll look fine. In our rafter, our tie-in, we had these old 3x4-inch rafters, which is really kind of an odd size. We had talked about, do they go all the way through the house or is just on the porch? I'm not really sure. But our 2x4s tie into them and extend a couple feet or so with the support under the header. Now, before we actually put a soffit under here, we need to really consider, this is Florida, so we'll put a hurricane clip on these. I'll kind of show you where they go. Just for security, it's code that we basically clip these on. Okay? They get put right up here on the side and down on this header to keep some of the upwind draft from ripping off this roof under a heavy storm. Oh, there's one thing I've noticed in these windows here is that the extra roof extension is added more shade to the porch or lack of sunlight. We've got a west exposure over here, so that might help reduce even the heat load as the summers approach. Mark and Rodney are putting in this 4x that'll help support our railing. This is our height, like we said we've got. And before we get to our railing, I want to show you a special material. This is made out of a weatherproof surfacing material that's really neat. We want to talk about it. Okay, it cuts just like wood. It even sounds a little bit like wood, but it's not. It's a polyethylene product, basically recycled milk jugs. You've seen us do some deck surfacing on this, and I did mention that this was a surfacing product, but it's not. It's solid plastic all the way through. So this is what's gonna imitate a spindle, okay, a wood spindle. And then the 2x4s here we use not for support or structure as much as decoration. Basically, this product won't crack or peel or fade or mildew or splinter. So we know that whatever weather it's going to get out here on the post in the corner on the porch is going to be for the long haul. Look down here at the base. Help us make this decision. We were talking about raising our bottom rail to, number one, let air, water, and trash to be able to remove it off the porch. Well, we came down with a lower piece that kind of looks better, I think. And so that's kind of one decision to make. Then what about our hand railing? Should it come up at an angle and stay outside? Or can we use a piece to come inside, put in here, whether it was moved out to the edge or placed right in the center? That way this will add for support wherever we put a spindle down here, and that'll really help because this needs a little more structural support. So that's kind of what we're thinking. Lower here for water, air, and trash, be able to sweep off the porch, and then put in these spindles in the middle. That's our game plan, and you see starting to develop here. We have one more challenge, and that is what we're going to do around the corner as we get close to the door. Okay, we've got another decision to make. I had Rodney cut a piece in here so we could see, using this first rail, see kind of what the presentation it gives us. It gives us a little space in here, maybe to put a pot or a container next to the step. But this other side, what we're really talking about is how we visualize the space here that is under the whole door. In other words, can we use all this room, or can we take as much as the steps provide by having an extension out here? You see, this corner looks pretty cool. And even from here, it gives us a little bit different look with more space in the patio here. Okay, in this configuration, we would take down, we only need one of these posts, so one of them's going to go on both sides. And we would take down the center one, so we've got a passage right through here. But on this other setup, we would leave the outside one, because that's where the rail is tied to, and remove this one. Again, smaller patio, but a little more elbow room and space here. And then this one has more inside usage or space for the patio, but nothing to set a pot or a container out here. The steps kind of demand or take up all the space. Well, whatever decision we make, we need to make it quick, get our rails in here so we can get on with our landscape. Well, what do you think? It is time to get on with the landscape. What I want to do is make use of 3 different plant types here first. Along the porch and the railing, let's use the African iris. Then we'll splash in between that the color of the Little John azalea with some low growing, something we can keep or maintain the height on, and that is boxwood. So for the iris, we're going to use it to tuck in the initial step right here close to the porch with a little bit on both sides, okay? Again, we're going to round this. We'll come in with our next arch with the Little John azalea, bringing them right through here, jumping over. We'll have to eliminate this, but we'll go ahead and build some back in here. Okay, then our third, our boxwood, we're going to come in one more layer out with a curved radius, jump over the walk here, try to continue the process. And again, since we've got a short section, let's match it up here with the railing. Well, join us for another project. I'm Gary Allen, and I'll see you soon.